What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're taking a look at the Fans Toys Grinder, their version of Grimlock. Now this is a older figure. This came out a while ago. I finally got a hold of it. I got it for a pretty good price from Cybertron Cafe, from a pretty good seller on there. Maybe I'll ask him if he wants to be mentioned here. But very nice figure. This goes for $200. I got this for $150. So here's the front of the box. I don't know who did this artwork. Maybe it was IONS, I'm not sure. This is a much older figure. If you look at the back, it says Fans Toys 2016, so at least 3 years ago. And you've got some product images here, not too much. I would have thought they would have had the other Dinobots all together in one picture. I don't see that here, but that's really all. Just says Iron Diebots on this side, nothing on that side. Another product or a drawing of the Dino mode, and same on the bottom. So that's really it for the box. You also get a collector's card, which is very nice. It's the thick plastic credit card style. Always like these. And you also get the instruction manual. This one's pretty simple, so it's not too bad. I mean, the instruction manual is pretty good, but here it is. Talks about accessories. Got some pretty nice instructions. And then it's got the alternate parts to replace for their version of Swoop. I don't have Swoop. In fact, I'm not planning to get any other Dinobots. I know that's pretty strange. It says, please note the figure doesn't come with battery in some country due to air freight policy. That's definitely not true. None of them came with the batteries. They just didn't come with it. I do happen to get the batteries for this. But that's really it for the box and the packaging. Let's get the figure out here and take a look at it. Here we have Fans Toys Grinder out of his packaging. He does come in robot mode. I have started in his Dino mode because I like to go from Dino to robot. But here he is. It is just really cool to see. Both modes, honestly. Because of the die cast and the chrome and the colors, it's just, there's something that's so cool about seeing this. Now, most of the Masterpiece Grimlocks, have a lot of these features, but this one just happens to stand out because of the amount of chrome and die cast on it. It really looks good. Let's take a quick 360. So here's the side. You got some paint here, some gunmetal paint here, a little bit of gunmetal here. You've got this smoked translucent plastic here with the chrome behind it. Got the chrome feet here. The chrome tail. On the back you've got the translucent green and red, and then the painted blue, which looks really nice. You got the boosters here, not really any paint on that, although it looks good regardless. On the head you do have the metallic blue eyes, and then on the teeth you've got the chrome teeth there. And the arms are also painted this silverish chrome. Let's go over the features in robot mode. You do have articulation here on the head, but you open up the jaw all the way like that. Looks really cool. You do have a flamethrower in here, so you can kind of get him in a cool pose there, shooting. And he kind of poses best when he's sort of aimed forward like this. I don't know, that's my personal opinion. He looks best when he's in this position. Also, you've got the chrome behind the neck there. I forgot about that. But that looks really good. You've also got the arms here articulate. Oops. And this is one of the problems here. These hands are on ball joints, and the ball joints pop off really easily, and it's very irritating. But here is the arms. They have a ball joint here and a rotation. Goes up that much, down that much. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and then the hand is on a ball joint, but again, because it's painted, it just seems to come off very easily. It's pretty irritating actually when you're manipulating it. And then the claws, there's 3 claws there. They manipulate individually. So the hands are a little fiddly, but you do get a lot of articulation there on the hands. The tail does waggle a little bit, so you can go up and down like this. You can go side to side that much. It's not a lot of movement, but it's good enough. I don't really need a lot. The legs have a lot of articulation, so it can rotate pretty much all the way around on a nice ratchet. You get basically friction joint here. You also have a movement here, which is not a ratchet, but I kind of wish that was a little bit tighter because it tends to lean back on its own weight if you don't have those positioned correctly. It tends to fall down, but it's fine. You also have a rotation here, but that's more for the robot mode. But you can do that if you want. You can kind of turn them out. So that's really it for articulation. The only accessory you really get in the dinosaur mode is this alternate head and eyepiece. I think you can use them interchangeably. Let's take a look. So you can pull off the top headpiece. The eyes are in there pretty tight. You can just kind of pop them out there. And then set this piece in. Now set the other eyepiece back in there. And you can actually put back the other one if you want to keep that head. There's the red eyes. I don't really like the red eyes, honestly, but... And then here it is with the alternate headpiece. And it just looks a little more menacing. Honestly, it's too far from G1 for me. This one's close enough. That's okay. You can get an alternate head for this guy, and you can get that... I think it's like $18 to replace his entire head and have a more G1 accurate head. I don't really care. I think this is fine. It's a little more stylized. But I prefer the standard nose. I think that one looks better with the blue eyes. Alright, now it's time to get to transformation. So this is actually a really fun transformation because it's simple but yet intuitive and kind of fun. So you pop these open here. That'll kind of loosen up the entire back. And you can kind of do this in different orders, but first thing is open up the head here, and that's just going to flip onto his back and just sit like that, just like that. And now you can open up these wing pieces on his body, and those are just going to open up like this. And these arms, you can kind of sit them really whatever way you want, but I like to just fold them flat like that so they're kind of out of the way and you don't really see them. There's really, you can have it any way you want. It doesn't really matter. Right? Lift up this panel here and just set that aside for a second. Lift up this entire piece here, and this is a big honking die-cast piece. It really gives you a lot of confidence. Pull this piece down. It's going to tab in right here. This is the only piece holding this entire thing together, at least on the chest. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's going to break, but it also doesn't feel super strong either. But it's fine, I guess. So split the tail. You can just kind of start at the bottom, work your way up. Be careful with the chrome pieces. You don't want to scratch it. So I tend to do it with my fingernail versus a spudger or something like that. So give yourself a little room and open up these panels here. Flip down the leg. Rotate around. And this whole thing, the whole tail is going to collapse into his leg. Fold that up. Hold this up. And everything should fit nice and flat inside there. Okay. Fold this foot down. And fold that in. And it'll fold nice and flat like that. All right. Same thing on this side. Open up the leg. Hold it down. Flip it around. And I can take care of this whole tail piece. And again, you can do this in kind of different orders, but it doesn't matter. Fold this up. Fold this down. Should end up with something like that. And fold this into the cavity here. And that should fold up nice and neat and should end up seeing a little bit of chrome sticking out there. Fold that part down for the foot. And we're in the home stretch. So just kind of set him on his own 2 feet. Fold these down. Fold that down. you're going to open up these hands. So pull here. And then close this panel. It should tab in right there. And then collapse the arm so that it goes inside. And it should be short like that. And same on this side. Open up this panel. Flip out your hand. Tab it back in. And collapse your arm. There you have Grinder in his robot mode, and he looks really good. Let's take a quick 360. You have a lot of display options here. I'll talk about those. You can kind of change things up however you want. Oh, and one thing I did forget, these are adjustable. You can kind of fold them down to meet the bottom of wherever you have his feet, however you have his feet posed. But here's the back. It's got a huge backpack, but that's the character design, right? He had his head, his dino head on the back. That's just part of the G1 character. So in terms of posability, or I guess display, you can have these kind of folded up or down. I do find that these aren't that tight. They could stand to be a little bit tighter. I don't know if they're going to loosen up over time, so I'm afraid to keep moving them too much. But you can move those up and down. You can also move these wings. So you have the option to have them angled up or down. Looks like you get one click. And then you get 1, 2, 3 clicks back. I like to have it kind of just even, just like that. With his shoulders, kind of like wings like that. You can also use his weapon. So here's his gun. It does have a light up mode. Let's show that. So here's his gun. And you can see you get a nice flashing. There he is with his gun. And I think that looks really good. You also get the sword. Let's take a look at that. So here is the sword lit up, and that looks pretty good. It's not that bright, but it's a cool little feature. I'll probably not keep batteries in here, honestly, but it's cool that you give you this option. And there he is with his sword, and that looks good as well. Both weapons, really nicely done. You do get a couple other accessories. So you get his crown, which just fits on his head. It only fits on one direction. If you try to put it on the other ways, it doesn't quite fit. So you know how it fits. It's a very nice die-cast metal crown. Looks really good. There is a little pattern so you know which way it goes. And there he is with his crown, and that looks really nice. The amount of die-cast on this guy is really impressive. So you got die-cast all in this chest piece. This crown is die-cast. These claws are die-cast. Some of the legs, I think, when you had the tail, is die-cast. So it's just a lot of die-cast on this guy, and it really shows through. So all in all, a very nice robot mode. I am very impressed. You also get this alternate headpiece with the red visor. Let's take a look at that really quick. Here's the red visor. That looks really good. I prefer the blue, but if you wanted this color, you can do this too. So let's take a look at his articulation. You do have the head on a rotating swivel. It does have an extra movement here, so you can kind of get it down quite a bit, up a little bit more, and it rotates all the way around. It's got a little bit extra movement, so you can get it looking downwards, which is nice. You do have the ratcheted shoulder joints, rotates all the way around. You can go out on this joint, also ratcheted. You have an elbow bend. It is actually double jointed, but because of the cut here, you only get 90 degrees, but that's fine. You also get a rotation at the bicep. You do have a ratcheted hip skirt, or sorry, rotation at the waist, which is nice. You do have the typical Fans Toys hands with every finger being articulated. I like these hands a lot. They're really sturdy. They feel strong. They don't feel like they're going to break or anything. They hold the weapons very nicely. But you have the full articulation. It also rotates at the wrist. So pretty much exactly how I like it. And then obviously these move around. You can kind of fold them out of the way there. No hip skirts, but you don't need them because it rotates with the leg, which is kind of a preferred way of doing something like this. It actually folds right out of the way, so it goes all the way back to here. It does get hindered by this hip piece here, so it only goes back that far. It goes all the way forward. Somehow they didn't really think through this design. I don't know if there's any way to get it further than that. That's as far as I can get it. Out on a friction joint out to the side, you do have a single jointed knee, 90-degree bend, rotation at the upper thigh. You do have ankle tilt all the way out to there, which is really nice, and you have ankle pivot back and forth like that, which is plenty. So you can really get him into some pretty good poses, and for a big guy, he is very dynamic. He really can move. And also you've got these cover down pieces. I forgot to mention that they can cover down on the ankles, so if you want to get a little bit more out of that, you can. But he really does look good. You know, he kind of needs his weapons to look right, but really good looking robot mode. I think they did a great job with the articulation on this guy. There he is next to the Magic Square Optimus Prime, and they do look good together. Obviously much bigger in terms of robot mode. I think it's a good scale. I mean, this is definitely one of those eye of the beholder type of scales. It's really hard to say what the right scale is for a Grimlock because in a lot of the cartoon his size changed. He got bigger and smaller, but for me this is a good size. I like the proportions here. I think he fits in well with Masterpiece Collection. So final thoughts wise, definitely recommend this guy. I think they did a great job with this release. Obviously, this is one of the first releases for Fans Toys early on, you know, several years ago. And just the overall quality and the look, the presence, the transformation, really everything. I don't have anything to complain about except for maybe the hands and dyno mode kind of come loose very easily. But that's a very, very, very minor gripe. I don't have any other issues with this. It looks great. It transforms well. It's sturdy. It's bulky. It's heavy. It's a very heavy figure. It's got to be at least, you know, almost 2 pounds. It's great. And, you know, I have no need for another Grimlock at this point. This is it. There was the Reximus Prime that I reviewed a long time ago. And that was pretty nice, but it didn't have the same feeling, and there was a lot of messiness in his legs. This one's got that nice, smooth look on the inside of the legs because it's got the panel covering, which is very intuitive, very ingenious, a very good design. It's a lot of nice panel work and just good design and details. You know, this is back when they weren't just doing tune accurate. They were adding a lot of details and a lot of little, you know, accents, that's what makes this guy really special. So highly recommend it. I'm not planning to get the rest of the Dinobots. I really just wanted a Grimlock, and this has fulfilled my need. So that's it for today, guys. I will be taking a look at the Siege Jetfire. It did come out a little while ago, but I finally got a hold of it for a pretty good price, so I'm going to take a look at that. And we also have a really fun figure coming. It's the Vehicle Voltron by Bandai. Their Soul of Shojokan line. So that's going to be a really cool figure to look at. Hopefully coming by Friday, so we can take a look then. But that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.